Hi everyone. Today I am here with Vidya Yedavali. Welcome Vidya. She is the author of the book called The Joy of God Realisation. This is her third book. The first one was The Dawn of Reality, which tells the story of her reincarnation as Dr. Neelu Godse, who was a member of Baba's Mandali, Meher Baba's Mandali. So this book goes deeper into that journey of discovery and all the way describes the journey of enlightenment. Enlightenment? What is enlightenment, Vidya? As a layperson, I don't understand that term.
Sure, I do really thank you for that introduction, Himal, and thank you for introducing the book Joy of God Realisation. You have been part of this journey and you have done this work with me to help me edit the book and bring it live for our audience and take it to public. Thank you for that.
It's been a joy and a pleasure. But after doing all that with you and after being such a close part of this book as the editor of this book, I still am trying to understand what God realization is about. We all understand loving God. We all understand praying to God. But what is enlightenment?
Sure, and thanks for asking that question. I must tell you, to talk about enlightenment and God realization, I must talk about my master Meher Baba, beloved Meher Baba, who has actually shown the path. I went about going on my spiritual quest, and I met Meher Baba on the journey, and he has done a lot of work. And his main message in his life is about what is the human potential and what is the real journey of human beings, what are they here for. He spoke everything about Atma, Padmatma and journey of the soul, right from the creation point, as we have seen that in Hinduism it is spoken more that Atma journeys through many lifetimes to reach Paramatma, and that is all we are here for. And so when I went through, when I met Meher Baba in this lifetime at his Samadi, and through Samadi he started talking to me, I also got the memory of my past life. Fortunately, that helped me a lot in my life to take the forward journey. And yes, the real journey and the destination for any soul is enlightenment, of course. So that is what that is what took me to that. Now, coming to enlightenment, which is also interchangeably used, like self-realization, God realization, are also the terms that are used for enlightenment. Now, Meher Baba has explained all these things in detail in his literature, where he has given a slight difference between the enlightenment, self-realization, God realization. But we can say that it is all about knowing ourself, knowing self, our true self. And who's this true self? Like Baba said, we have gross body, we have a mental body, and we are spiritual beings. We have a spiritual body too. So when we talk about that, so when we talk about the gross body, mental body and spirit, that is when what Baba said and what we are really trying to know ourselves. Are we trying to know our material life, the spiritual life, or we are thinking of our mind, which is here and there all the time, or we really want to know our true self, which is our Atma. So enlightenment is about realizing that knowing is something that we all know, because so many people, the great people have spoken about it, we all know. And people like Ramana Maharshi, Vivekananda, and several gurus have taught us that the real journey is self-realization. So, but the knowledge itself is not enough for human beings. We have to experience that enlightenment. We have experienced self-realization and God realization, and that is what Meher Baba promises to his lovers, true lovers and disciples, that he can take you there, and that is what he did with me.
That is an amazing journey. As we read in this book, Vidya has described in detail her own personal experience on the path to self-realization or enlightenment, as we interchangeably use it. In management terms, we use self-actualization, which I think has a slightly different connotation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think in some frameworks people have used, but I think self-actualization is the term which is also used in the spiritual context by many masters, and it is okay to do that. I think there is no great, there's nothing different, no great difference that we should draw there. But however, self-actualization is also used for attaining a higher purpose or a service in this world from the material world point of view. Like if you are engaged in serving the humanity in some way or other, people also have called it self-actualization. It all in spiritual context and with context to Meher Baba's literature, for him self-actualization, enlightenment, God realization is all to do with God. Everything to do with Atma and Paramatma in Meher Baba's literature.
So, how do we understand this realization? How has it impacted your life? Because knowing you so closely, I see you're doing the same things in life. We are going to office, we are doing a lot of work, you are interacting with your family. So, what was so different? What changed in your life after enlightenment?
Good. I think actually nothing much changes as far as the material and physical life is concerned. As someone said, cut the food, fetch the water. Before realization, cut the wood, fetch the water. After realization, cut the wood, fetch the water. So we actually do the same thing. But what changes is our perspective about the world, about ourselves. This whatever unrest that you have within you because you feel incomplete before you attain that objective of life, and after gaining that real knowledge, you are more peaceful because you don't have to journey anywhere. You have arrived. So I actually feel that I am peaceful, I am more balanced, more happier in life. I've reached.
There's nothing more to do. We have a long way to go, I guess. As people, we have to work on ourselves a lot to arrive there. There were, after doing this book, many people have been talking about it, those who have read it. And they said, as ordinary people living ordinary mundane lives, how do we are we eligible for enlightenment? How do we get there? Many of us don't even know whether we have a spiritual master or not. How do we do that? How do we identify that we are on the path?
So, good question. Actually, many religions and maybe earlier masters taught and said that it is very difficult to attain enlightenment. In fact, it is, I won't say it's easy, that the efforts are required. Without efforts, nothing happens. And are normal people who are in their family, with their families, living an ordinary life, are they eligible for enlightenment? Are they eligible to pursue enlightenment? It is a very big yes. It is, yes, they are eligible to pursue enlightenment, to pursue their truth, Now, there are no shortcuts. Obviously, there are no shortcuts. But if you consider this whole world as a school, this is a Gurukul. This is a bigger Gurukul where you are given life of opportunities in life to pursue your truth, to have those learnings, and they come in our life every day. And we are every day becoming better and better, whatever we are doing. Even if you are so-called people who are on the wrong path, they are getting closer to the truth, because they are finishing their experiences and getting to know someday that what they were pursuing is not all that they are supposed to do. They are supposed to do much more, and they're getting closer there. Now, are ordinary people eligible? Yes, they are eligible. Now, how do you find a master is a very big question, because enlightenment is not possible without a proper master. A master's grace, who is himself enlightened, is a must. Following wrong gurus, fake gurus, maybe there is an every danger that you will waste life following wrong gurus, because life is very valuable, our time is very precious, and when we do the right things and follow the right guru, we will get there. So one is finding the right guru, the other thing is having the grace of guru in this lifetime to attain that. So these are two different things. What is in our hands is to choose the right guru.
So what is the difference between a teacher and a Sadguru, or a spiritual master in our lives?
So the difference between the teacher and guru, I have my definition. I will share what I think. I think a maths teacher is the one who is just teaching maths, or a science teacher is just teaching science. And he has learnt it from somewhere. He is going to tell us whatever he has learnt and make us learn that in an effective way. He doesn't have to live maths, he doesn't have to live science. But a guru is someone who's teaching something, not only imparting that knowledge to you, he ensures that you get it in the same way. Not only that, he practices it in his life. So what makes it more lively, more effective is that guru is living it. So that is a very big difference between a teacher and a guru or a master.
So what is the relationship between a guru and a disciple?
It's a very difficult question to answer. One, because there are many connotations to this. There were many examples in the past. If you look at the history and mythology and all that, many people have said, so Krishna and Arjuna are supposed to be the best guru and disciple. But I would like to state it in one word. It is the faith. And if you have faith, that you have faith in your master, in your guru, then it is about having everything. First, faith comes. Like if a master says, it is dark outside, as Meher Baba said, even though in the daylight, if you are able to believe that it is dark, then you are there, like you are a disciple eligible for being with that guru. If you start using your mind, I don't say common sense is not required, you have to blindly believe and those things. But once you have identified your guru as a perfect master, he is the God in human form, then whatever the guru says, the disciple should have faith in him, surrender to him and follow his instructions. You do your research, you do your tests, use your logical mind, use your common sense till you accept him as guru. You do everything before you accept him as a guru, but once you have accepted him as a perfect master, doubting him again and again would not take you there. So a guru and disciple should be someone like Krishna and Arjuna, who had blind faith. He asked him to drop everything and look at him in middle of the battle, he dropped everything and looked at Krishna. He did not doubt that someone is going to kill him from the side because he was standing in the battlefield. There was every danger that someone can attack him also, but he heard everything.
Okay, so I have a few questions that some of our readers have sent to me, which I thought I picked just 2 or 3 for the purpose of time. You can hold this. One of the questions that was asked is, in your book you have mentioned different kinds of samadhis. So what is the difference between Nirvana and Nirvikalpa Samadhi? Can you please explain that?
Yeah, so these are the terms that Meher Baba has explained, and since I am Meher Baba's disciple, I will talk what Meher Baba has taught us. There are very many different connotations of explained by masters differently, but more or less everything says the same. I will share what I learned. So Nirvana is a state, that is I am not state, just before God realization. Nirvana is a state, is a vacuum state where you don't feel anything, you don't experience anything. And just after Manonash, Baba talks about Manonash. First we get to Manonash, then we get to Nirvana, then we get to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Manonash is an experience through which your mind is blocked. It could be for a few seconds or few minutes or whatever God decides, but usually for a second your mind is stopped, and which means that you don't experience anything, you don't know yourself, you don't know anything, nothing exists. And in that moment everything stops. It is not about stopping the mind, stopping the thoughts. It means that no mind. When you exist to no mind, when you travel further, you go into a nirvana state, because in the state of no mind, and when you go to the next step, there's only vacuum there. So it is nothing there. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a state where you regain, you get to experience that everything is God, everything is one. And what is God? God means a state of oneness, where the creator, the creation, and the one who is experiencing it becomes one. So it's a deep state of oneness, and in that deep state of oneness, everything is there and everything is one, including the one who is experiencing becomes one with it. So Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a state of everything, Nirvana is a state of nothing, and Manonash is a state where the soul attains a state of losing his own limited identity. So these are the 3 different things that happens in Enlightenment.
So let me ask you the next. From that question itself, I think in the book you have mentioned the paradox is that the route to real knowledge is the mind. The mind can only become the vehicle by becoming silent and going beyond the mind itself. So when you are reaching this Manonash stage, what is the state here that you're talking of, this paradox? That we really are looking for knowledge, we are looking for real knowledge, and that's how do I get there? How do I get enlightened? So I'm using all that I have, which is also the mind, and the mind is needed to process and understand. Yeah. But then you're saying Manonash, where the mind has to stop. So isn't that a paradox? Isn't that a contradiction? Can you explain that a bit?
Sure. I think everything in this world we are processing through our mind, through our knowledge, which is an important thing, because if we have to understand something, we have to grasp something and change our way of being, we have to have processing, we have to process through knowledge. So that is about mind. When you are processing things of the world through your mind, and then you change your behaviors, or you change your inclination towards different things of life, that you are intentionally going and changing. The knowledge helps. In spirituality too, when you gather all this knowledge, the knowledge helps you to understand the process. Whereas experience cannot be replaced with the knowledge. Whatever is really experienced, the person who experiences it, when he is explaining something, you get to get it immediately, because the richness of that experience is added to the words. So the understanding is deeper, higher, and it penetrates the right place. When we talk about no mind, when we talk about Manonash, everything that mind can conceive and understand is of this world, and it has known it somewhere or some place. So it feeds that data. To know God, God is beyond understanding. God cannot be discussed. God cannot be explained. God cannot be described in words. To know God, you need to go beyond the mind to understand God. And only when all this knowledge that you have known about, which is required initially, but it is like dropping the alphabet board once you have learned the alphabets. So once you have understood it, you have to drop it and drop everything to reach a state of no mind. And from that no mind state, you can understand someone who cannot be described. So it is an essential process that you go through the no mind state, you go through Manonash, and then know the Creator. So that is the relation between this, you see. So it's something that even I can't explain it to you in words. One has to experience it.
So we have to get there to experience. I'm sure we all have some experiences in our life which are taking us towards that blissful state. So another question is, what is awareness versus expansion of consciousness? Is it the same? I mean, I get more and more aware of things, I'm more sensitive to things, but what really is expansion of consciousness?
Yeah. So awareness and consciousness are many times interchangeably used. And awareness of consciousness, when I say awareness of consciousness, is something where I'm differentiating. When I'm aware of my surroundings, when I'm aware of you, when I'm aware of this light, I'm aware of the sound, I am aware of something. But the consciousness is something which is lifting along with, the more and more I am expanding my awareness, it is the consciousness that is growing, the overall consciousness that is growing, you see. So consciousness becomes the quality, or the consciousness becomes the state, whereas awareness becomes an experience. So it is a state. Like I say that, okay, I'm angry. So being in anger is my state. But when I become aware of my anger, it is something that I'm getting to know about it. You see. So when you hear a parrot, singing, so when you hear a parrot's voice, you can hear it with your ears. But when you listen to parrot along with the nature, the tree and everything around it, so you're becoming more and more conscious about the entire environment and the being and all that. So there are these little differences. And when you close your eyes in meditation, and when you experience being aware of myself, and you're lifting your consciousness to higher level, you will know the difference about it. These are the words that are words in English. The experience will differentiate it more and more when you go through it.
Thank you so much, Vidya. It's been a real pleasure. And I'm sure all the people who sent in their questions would also appreciate the answers you've given.
Yeah.
And friends, I think there's a long journey ahead of us. Let's work at it together to get there. The joy of God realization.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much.